Well, a lot of people have asked us what Hell House is and what it's supposed to look like. Hell House was born in a neighborhood similar to Mountain View. Heidi and I had moved into the neighborhood with several other families. It was a real low income neighborhood. Many of the families there were dysfunctional. We planted a cross in the front yard and started building relationships while we were in the neighborhood. First Halloween that we were there, we decided to have a party for the children in the neighborhood. And so we had something similar to a vacation Bible school, and we had candy and games, but it was difficult to keep the kids there because most of them had one thing on their minds, which most kids do on Halloween, and that's collecting as much candy as they can. So the next Halloween, we decided we'd try something different because we had trouble holding the children's attention the first year. Heidi and I in previous years had gone into different haunted houses and passed out tracts and witness, and sometimes our efforts weren't quite well received. So we decided to do something on our own. The second Halloween that we were in the neighborhood, we decided to have something similar to a haunted house, but haunt it with the gospel. And so we took all the furniture out of our house and created a series of scenes where we would present people who were walking through the house with the gospel, one scene at a time. Something similar to Heaven's Gates and Hell's Flames, except instead of watching the different scenes, the people coming through the house would one at a time step into the scene. When they came to the front door, we would have a large angel there to meet them, and took them down a long dark hallway. And at the end of the hallway, the only light in the hallway were from 2 candles on either side of a large family Bible laying open on top of an altar. And there the angel would present, and in this particular case, it most likely was a gang member, would present them with the plan of salvation. From there, the angel would lead them to the first bedroom, and in that bedroom, we'd turn on the light, and there was a scene of a number of people having a party, drinking and smoking, and so the party would erupt into a fight, and one of the partiers would die in a knife fight. So the angel would say, well, let's see what happened to Jose. In this case, it was a Hispanic neighborhood. So we'd take our person that we were leading through the house from that room and take them through what we called the portal of death, which is, in effect, was a casket that was standing upright. And we would tell them, in order to see what happened to Jose, we would have to go to the other side of death. So we'd lead them through the casket and into the next bedroom. In the next bedroom, we had taken out all the furniture and lined all the walls and the ceiling with tin foil. And we had a professional smog machine or smoke machine, and we smoked the room up, and we had red fog lights. And the net effect when they walked in would be just a red fog, and they wouldn't be able to see more than about 3 to 6 inches in front of their face. And out of that fog and right up into their face would step usually the devil. And the devil would introduce himself, and unbeknownst to the gang member, usually the angel would step out of the room and close the door behind him. It didn't take long before the person going through realized that he was standing in hell alone with the devil. And a number of lost souls, normally with chains wrapped around them and howling and wailing, wanting out of hell. So normally a fight would erupt between the angel and the gang member over the door, with the gang member trying to get out. We would let them out in the course of time and take them next to the next room, and there would be a room set up to look like heaven. And we had a family there that had gotten saved in that neighborhood, and we had them all dressed in white, and we had lots of plants and a kind of a smoke that laid on the floor, and creating a scene of heaven, or as close as we could recreate there. And there they would see what an entire family looked like that had been born again. And again they would receive the plan of salvation. Leaving that room, they would go back in through our kitchen and receive Kool-Aid and cookies. And from there they would step out into the backyard where we had counselors who had Bibles and tracts. And so every single person who went through the first Hell House had to speak to a counselor before they got away. That night we had over 100 people go through, and over 42 of them were saved for the first time. We were real excited over that, and so in the following years, we continued with Hell House. The second year, we went to a funeral home, and the third year into a storefront in a strip mall. And Hell House just grew from there. We had pastors from other churches come and see, and took it back to their churches, and soon Hell House spread from coast to coast. And so there's many Hell Houses that are being held every year, and this first Hell House occurred about 16 years ago. After that first Hell House was over, a lot of people have asked me that there was some few funny things that happened. I'd put all our furniture in storage behind the house, and when I went to go get the furniture the following day, some gang members had stolen it, and so I was confronted with one housewife who was wanting her furniture back, and the gang members. So I went looking for the gang members rather than face my wife with no furniture. So we got our furniture back. Hell House is effective in the fact that each person going through Hell House is not watching the scene, but stepping actually into the scene and seeing the gospel up close. And also each one of them that go through will have to talk to a counselor to get out. So each one of them get to talk to somebody and receive a Bible or a tract. And so the follow-up and is pretty effective in the Hell House. Jesus, talking in Luke 3:24, said, "Go out into the highways and the hedges and compel them to come in, that my Father's house may be filled." So we're asking you today, if you would, to pray with us about filling our Father's house and going out into the highways and the hedges of Anchorage. So please pray with us, and if you would, pray about being involved with Hell House this year. Lord bless you.